Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Nice to nice to be back. It's Monday, and wow, it's a beautiful day here. The weather here has been so beautiful. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, which, if you're not familiar with the U.S. and how it's set up, this is considered the Midwest, and there's the Great Lakes, which are five huge, gigantic lakes, freshwater lakes, and we are in Cleveland, Ohio, which is on Lake Erie. So generally in the summer, we can get these beautiful lake breezes that come through and just keeps it so nice and cool and blue skies. Everything's just picture perfect. So welcome back. And, I'd like to invite you to put a welcome in the chat and introduce yourself. And if you'd like to say, hi from wherever you're from. I'd love to see that. I like to meet everybody. So that would be fantastic. And we're going to get started in a little bit. I just want to say a couple things first is that next Monday, I will not be able to do this live session because of an event that I'm going to be at, which is an event that many of you in this in the Heartfulness organization know about. And this is happening in Washington, D.C., where our Heartfulness group is having a booth, and we'll be doing presentations at a big conference there. And that conference is being hosted by the Telugu Association. So this is going to be really something different for us too. And it's the 4th of July weekend in Washington, and that's like the busiest weekend of the year in Washington, D.C., because that is Independence Day for the U.S. And it's a huge celebration with many, probably millions of people will be there. And they shoot off fireworks on what we call the 4th of July, and it's a big event. So this is happening along with that. So I look at it like there's two big cultural parties going on. There's the Telugu conference cultural party that's going on, and then there's this other huge bash going on, which is the American cultural event, which is the 4th of July or Independence Day. So it's really going to be exciting. And here's what I want to tell everybody. So I'm going to be there, and I'll be there from the 29th through I'm leaving the 4th. And if you are in this country and you're nearby to Washington, D.C., please come by and introduce yourself. I really love to meet you and love to meet people around the world. It's so much fun. So please do. All right. So let me just say, before we get into the topic, let me just say hi to Usha, Vijaya, P. Nick, Rajesh, Hari, welcome. Poonam Anand, welcome. Hey, Meg, welcome. Barath, Maya. Hey, Maya, Paul, great. They're in Bali, Indonesia. Welcome. Niz Bram Thorson from Denmark. I love Denmark so much. I tell you, that could possibly be my second home. And I've been there many times and have gone to we have this beautiful ashram there called Vradsand. And it melts me every time I go there. And I can't wait to come back and to visit that place again and see you all. So great. All right. We've got Anil. Welcome, Murugasan. Welcome. And if I'm not pronouncing your name exactly right, I'm sorry. And we've got, let's see who else. SS, good evening to you. Chaitra, Kashmir, Kavita, great. So I'm really happy about just everything. And today's topic too. I've been in really good spirits. So today's topic is letting the heart lead the mind. Oh, yeah, letting the heart lead the mind, because the problem is we have put our mind in charge Yes, we've trained it to take over our heart. And it's this thinking, judging, calculating machine. That's the most beautiful thing ever, that we have a mind. Isn't it wonderful? But the mind has gone out of control, and basically we have trained our mind, and you've heard me say this, we've trained our mind to believe. The mind now believes that all this hyperactivity, all of this, evaluating, and all of this, taking in information, storing in, all of this process is its natural state. So we've gone really far away from the natural state of the mind. What to say of the heart? The mind thinks, but the heart feels. So the mind is, you know, all of these things strung out in a linear fashion, all these thoughts, one after the other. The mind thinks, it's linear, it's time based. But here's the thing, the heart feels. Now, think about this. Okay. Feeling is only one thing, it's not all this stuff. Now, the mind will interpret our feelings and cause immense chaos for ourselves all the time. But when the heart feels, feeling is just one thing. When you feel content, it's one thing. When you feel love, it's one thing. When you feel sad, it's one thing. When you feel happy, it's one thing. When you see someone that's in trouble, okay, that's somebody that you see who's hurting, what do we say? Say, oh, my heart goes out to that person. That's one thing. So the mind operates in pieces and parts in a linear time-based fashion, and the heart does not. So you can imagine the simplicity when we just rest our awareness, bring our awareness out of that thought stream, and we just rest it on the heart. What happens? It becomes one thing. We become integrated. We experience unity. We experience the meaning of the word yoga, union. You see how simple that is? So just remember that. Heart thinks in pieces and parts, and our mind thinks in pieces and parts, and the heart is based on feeling. It feels, and a feeling is one thing. So that's such a simple thing to remember. And when you want to talk to somebody about, meditation, everybody understands this. So please make use of that when you explain why you meditate to somebody. You can use this as a good explanation. All right, so now, why? How? Why? How? What do we get when we let the heart lead the mind? What happens when we start to reverse this process? Well, I do a session, another session for newcomers. It's over the weekend, and I read some things from a beautiful book. This is called Designing Destiny, and it's by Kamlesh D. Patel, who most of us know as Daji. And this is a book you got to get and go through it at your leisure. Don't rush through books like this. Take a chapter every few days, read through it, and then, ponder it and sit with it for a few days, and then, keep it nearby. You'll get inspired, pick up another chapter. That's a good way to read this book. So I read something from here, and this relates to this topic today. I'm going to sort of give a little bit of a recap of what I talked about on the weekend. So first, I want to read what Daji says in an introduction to this one chapter. He says, "It is not that meditation will give you everything, but meditation done properly creates a condition, and that condition will change you." Okay. So it's not that meditation gives us everything. Meditation is a tool we use to invoke a process. And when we do that meditation or process properly, it creates a new type of condition in ourselves that we feel that. It feels different. And that condition brings about a change in us. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to that. But first, let me talk about what Daji says. This is so good. This is so good. What do we get when we put the heart back in charge over the mind? Well, I want to read what Daji writes about this in this first chapter in Designing Destiny, which is called Why Practice, but it really relates to this letting the heart lead the mind. What do we get when we let the heart lead the mind? Me to we, selfish to selfless, reactive to responsive, passion to compassion, anger to love, arrogance to humility, anxiety to poise, fear to courage, contraction to expansion, restless to peaceful, imbalance to balance, heavy to light, gross to subtle, complex to simple, impure to pure, desire to contentment, attachment to non-attachment, expectation to acceptance, thinking to feeling, yes, feeling to experiencing, and being to non-being, intellectualizing to wisdom, having to being in love. That's what we get when we get the heart back in charge of our life. Sounds like a good thing. Okay, now I'm going to come back to the first thing that I read, and I'm going to expound on this a little bit. So I'm going to read it one more time. It is not that meditation will give you everything, but meditation done properly creates a condition, and that condition will change you. So what I want to talk about is change. I'm not a fan of this idea that when we say, I want to change, I need to change. I got to change this, or I'm going to change this. I'm not a fan of that. And now I'm going to explain to you why. And this, what Daji wrote, hints at this. So here's the reason why I'm not a fan of the way we use the word change. Whenever you say, I got to change this about myself, what happens? We resist. We completely resist. I got to change this about myself. I need to lose 20 pounds. No, you can say that all you want, but something in us comes up and it resists this idea of change. Why is this? Because to be honest with you, this idea that we have to change, I have to change, it's not natural. It's just not. It's not the natural way towards change. So here's what I want to explain. When you plant a seed in the ground, okay, if you're doing this intentionally, you want to make sure that it's the proper soil, that the soil has the proper nutrients. You want to be sure that the seed is watered properly. Now, when we do that, we create an environment for the seed to sprout. And when the seed sprouts, it puts out this little shoot, starts putting its leaves out there. What do we notice? Oh, it's changed. But what actually happened? It grew. So there was growth. And as a result, we saw change. So what we need to understand, change is a result. The process is growth. But we mix it all up. And then it becomes unnatural to us. Okay, now think about that. So it sprouted. So now this, let's say it's a tree. So now this grows into a nice sapling, maybe 3, 4, 5 feet high. Wow. We come out, we say, look at how that tree has changed. What happened? Did the tree change by itself? Did the tree say, I'm going to change? No. the tree, given a special environment, a good environment, it grows. It grows. Okay? Now, when that sapling reaches to be a 65-foot tall oak tree, we're now in our old age, we go out there and we tell our spouse, remember, we planted that seed, and look at how it's changed. Did it change? We saw change, okay? Change was the result, but it grew, okay? So here's the point, is that we need to change our mindset about this. And instead, we need to focus on growth. Now, let's think about how this works for us. If we start thinking about how can I grow? Because Daji says that actually what we're doing in this spiritual field that we're in is we're growing our consciousness. Okay. So how do we grow? Well, we have got to create the proper environment for growth. And that means doing something with our inner environment to nourish our inner environment, to water this inner environment, which we do in Heartfulness with something called yogic transmission or pranahuti. Prana is watering our inner environment, and it's creating an environment for growth. It causes growth. This transmission, what does it do? It causes growth. It doesn't cause change. It causes growth. And as a result of growth, we see change. This is it. So it's very important, if we want to grow, that we focus on the proper inner environment to nurture those beautiful seeds of love and all of that list I read, all those qualities of the heart, love, compassion, acceptance, so many different things. We need to create an environment to nurture the qualities of the heart. That's what we need to do. And we have all the tools to do this in this practice that we call heartfulness. So what are the practices of heartfulness? Well, first, let's start with something we do in the evening cleaning. We have a way to remove all the influences from the day, all the things that happen to us, both good and bad, just all the stuff from the day. We have a way we can sit down and we can remove all that. And I'd like to think of this as like pulling the weeds. We're pulling the weeds out from the day and getting back to a pristine inner environment, so that at bedtime, okay, we can acknowledge to ourselves that there's still things in our inner environment that we really want to let go of. Okay, we want to grow out of those things. So we place those before our higher self at bedtime, saying, these are the things that are troubling me and that I want to grow out of these. And we go to bed with that thought, with the resolve that I'm going to grow out of these things that are not going to hold me back. In the morning, what do? When we get up, first thing, we start the day with watering our inner environment. We water those beautiful seeds in the heart the heart's uh, the heart's characteristics, those things that are the qualities of the heart. We water that when we meditate and be just receptive to receive and to beautify the inner environment. It's like, preparing the soil and watering the soil. This is how we prepare our inner environment to bring about tremendous growth, rapid growth. And when we do this, change is the result. And that's just a natural occurrence. The result of evolution, as we learn about it in school, is things change. Evolution teaches us that as environments changed, species had to adapt. They had to grow into a new type of species that could adapt to that environment. And as a result, species changed. You see, you're starting to get this picture. So change is a result of evolution, and evolution is a result of growth. So that's the incredible gift, I feel, of these practices that we can utilize. And I just want to say that, we're at a point in evolution where, we don't have to wait for this very slow biological process that happens over millions of years. No, we're now in an evolution of the mind. The mind is leading a type of evolution where we're seeing tremendous growth in the fields of technology, the arts, music. Everything in the world has exploded, because our mental capabilities have evolved, have grown. And as a result, we're seeing rapid change. Now, also, we are in a time of an evolution of consciousness. But here's the thing. In order to really take advantage of this evolution of consciousness, it's all up to us. We can choose to sit in our easy chair and read this book, Designing Destiny, and say, oh, wow, that's so great. Oh, I just love it. And we might take a little nap, or we're going to watch some TV, or we're going to watch some things on YouTube, or we're going to binge watch TikTok. Okay. And then we'll read another chapter. Oh, that's so good. I just love that. And then we go back to doing our things. And I can tell you, nothing is going to happen towards our evolution merely by reading. We'll get inspired. But to evolve, we have to participate in our evolution. And we do that through utilizing the tools of heartfulness that are available to us. And when we utilize the tools, the more we become good at it, the more we cooperate with our own inner need for growth. It's an inner need. If we cooperate with our inner need and we do these practices, we don't have to do them perfectly, but we do them and work up. Very soon, we start to see this beautiful blossoming from inside. And all those qualities that we have that are right here in our heart with us all the time, they start to come up to the surface, and we start to shine and let those qualities, just automatically just shine through us. That's the spiritual path. That is our spiritual journey. How could we possibly be on a spiritual journey where we don't arrive? That would be ridiculous, right? Who would want a journey like that? Let's not take a journey like that. Let's take this journey where, we do a few things for our own evolution and growth, and we reap the benefits of that. And as a result, and I gave this example the other day. So as a result of our choosing to create the inner environment and growing, and just like growing into that, growing into a big tree, we become a tree that's a fruit-bearing tree. And what happens? People benefit from the fruits of our efforts. And we are a tree that gives back. as a result of our growth. We're a tree that gives back through our shining out our light to the world. And everybody wants to do that. Everybody does. So that's why it's, so important. And that's why I'm here talking to you today. That's why I spend my life talking to people about this, because I just am so passionate about it, that this is the need of the hour. So, I want to say one more. Before we get into meditation, which we're going to do now, we're going to take up a process and we're going to grow right now. But I just want to say, if you are coming to DC to this, I don't want to forget about this. If you're coming to DC in this conference, and you're looking for everybody, we're going to have this really cool badges. I hope you can see this, and it says, what does it say? It says, "Make life better." So we're going to be wearing these badges, "Make life better," and then in the corner it says HFN. And so this will be a little conversation starter. People can say, "What do you mean make life better? And what's HFN?" You see, so we can say, well, this is what we're all about. So look for these badges. When you see them, you'll know that you are connecting with Heartfulness, folks. Okay, so if we're all on board and ready, we're going to experience some growth right now. We're going to meditate together, and I hope you'll stay with this. Don't leave the session yet. I want to invite you to, let's all do something together, grow together, and experience this profound sense of unity that we really are. So I'd ask you to please get comfortable. Okay. Now let's very gently close our eyes. Let's start by taking a very slow, deep breath in. And let it go. Feel your body relax. Feel the weight of your arms in your lap. Feel any tension in your shoulders is releasing, and just your shoulders are dropping down. Let's take another deep breath in. And let it go. Let's very gently bring our awareness out of our head and let it drop down very gently onto our heart. Be aware of the heart. Feel your heart softening and becoming lighter. Now let's meditate on the source of light that's already present in the heart. And feel the source is inviting you homeward. Let's stay with that thought. soul. Witness your current condition. Now let's have the thought that we're expanding this very peaceful state within ourselves. It's effortlessly expanding. Now let's imagine our friends and loved ones are also in this peaceful field. And now let's also imagine the entire world is within this field, peaceful unity. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. So you see how we create an inner environment. We grow in that environment. We expand. And then at the end, we offer that to everyone. The fruits of our effort are not merely our rewards, but everyone partakes of the reward. So that's the beauty of it. All right. So, Veena, Subramanya, Mohini, Sharmila, Madhupur, Ayan, Sarda, Kanchan, Angie, Chaitra, Minu, and everyone else. It's been great to be together again and go through this simple idea. I hope you'll remember to share this with others who might be interested in our meditation. So you can use those examples. Vijaya, Anu, hi, Monica. All right. It's so good to feel your presence and all be together. So I want to, again, thank you very much. And like I say every week, we're going to want to stay with the heart and all will be well. All the best, everyone. Love to all.